Awesome, Carlos. I see the numbers are growing quickly. Should we give it a minute or two to get started here?
We are live.
We are live.
Yes.
All right, awesome. I feel like as fast as these numbers are going up, I should give it 30 seconds, but we can dive straight in. What do you think? Yeah, I'll give it 30 seconds, guys. Tonight, we are going to be talking about being the boss in WDT, being a professional networker, and how you can use the WDT app, WDT Connect app, to really be a professional in networking, and how to build an incredible database, and a database that you own, where you can search and filter your contacts. And this may seem like a simple subject and an obvious one, but I promise you it's not. Um, if I asked you tonight to type into the chat, where do you keep all your contacts? How do you organize your contacts so that you can reach out to them over the long haul? And then what are you doing that you can teach your team to do in We Do Transformations? What are you currently doing that you can teach in terms of building and communicating with your database? So type it in the chat. I don't know if I can see the chat. Yes, I can. I'll open up the chat window. I just love to see. Okay, so Telegram, my phone, right? Do you keep some of your contacts in Facebook? YouTube, LinkedIn, like where are you doing all of that? And then if you're keeping them in your phone, do you know who a hot prospect is? Is your phone telling you who your hot prospects are? Can you put a list together and broadcast an email to everybody based on a label in your phone? Right now, obviously, I'm being facetious. I already know the answer to that, right? You can't. If your contacts are in Facebook or YouTube, you signed to terms of service. Who owns that data? YouTube and Facebook own that data. You don't. It's very hard to even get the contacts out, except maybe one by one. Now, there's a reason for that. They want to own the data. It's the most valuable thing in the world to them. And those platforms aren't free. They're using your communication and the data you have with your prospects. So what's the solution? Well, number one, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I think we're ready to roll here. Thanks for everybody joining us. If you've got questions as we go through, we've got some people on the team that can answer some of those questions. But here's what we're talking about tonight: how to properly add and organize all of your contacts, really how to be a professional networker. Now, here's some of the challenges, right? Is not being prepared to prospect 24/7. Look, the one thing we all have with us is this phone. Every time that we leave the house, we have this phone available. It's with us all the time. And for that reason, if you're using it and leveraging it, you can prospect all the time. I just realized I did not have my app share going. Give me 1 second. Okay. Boom, there we go. All right, perfect. I just need to have that ready when we jump to the WDT app. Okay, so I'm not being prepared to prospect, not building a database that you own, no system to properly organize and search for your prospects. You want to know who the hot prospects are. You want to be able to search and filter that entire database. You want to have a 5-star personal rating system for how did you rate the prospect when you met that person for the first time, right? So these are all problems, difficulties, I should say, maybe. What's the solution? Well, you build a database where you can build a database, you can post surveys to social media, you have incredible lead magnet tools, free secrets pages, and lead capture pages that you can post one-on-one or directly to social. You can import from your phone, CSV or QR code. Labels, you can label all of your prospects. And I'm going to tell you about all these things tonight and show you if you will, at the time that you meet a person, if you will leverage these features in the app, It's going to change the game for you 3, 4, and 5 years from now. Any of you that have been down the road for a little bit, look, I was 15 years into networking. I had made more millions than I can count. And I went to a guy's house and he had a 6,000 person database via email. He had built a database of leads he had bought, people he'd talked to, all the different things he did. 6,000 people. And then he emailed him over the weekend and he prospected, he recruited 3 people that weekend while we were out eating lobster in Maine or something, Maryland, right? And I was so mad. I went home and I'm like, I can't believe this. I made all this money, but I don't have a database. And so I started building some of this stuff. And I realized pretty quickly, I almost felt a little hypocritical because I'm like, I can't teach this. People can't pay for a CRM and an email blaster, and they can't write their own email campaigns. And you guys don't ever have to worry about that. You now have a platform that you can teach your entire team to leverage, and you can communicate, filter, search, email, broadcast. You can do all of that through the WDT Connect app. That's crazy. You've got activity logs and tasks, a hot prospect algorithm, all of it. So let's pull over the app specifically and let's start talking specifics. Okay. Is this right? I appreciate it, right? It's amazing. The fire, Kimberly, I love it. It's just good to know. And if you guys have questions, I'll try to watch that board as we go through it. But let me know if this is making sense to you. I get so excited about this stuff because it changes the game. Do you understand? You're turning a lot of people who are part-time networkers, they drop somebody into an email campaign because they have that system in the app. And then the right person becomes the right time. I'm going to show you in the app. I'm going to give you one quick example of this. In the app right now, I'm jumping ahead just a little bit. We'll train on this another night. But you have email campaigns. If I click on those email campaigns, you guys, mark my words, we will show you the data in the coming weeks. You guys are going to have a 70% opt-in rate into email. Now, any of you know how opt-in email works? 2 or 3% is a good number. And some of you are going to say, they're crazy. There's no way I'm going to have a 70% opt-in. Yes, you are. I promise you. You watch what happens. We have all the data. We know. You're going to call somebody and you're going to know that the timing's not perfect for them. You're going to let them off the hook. You had to let them off the hook anyway because, their timing's not right. Right? Kids, life, jobs, work, whatever it is. And you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm going to stay in touch with you. And if I come across something super interesting, I'll drop it to you in an email. And the person will go, oh, and they're happy to be let off the hook. And then you're going to drop them in an email campaign. And this email campaign is not going to go to 21 days. It's literally going to go to 600 days. And sooner or later, you're going to catch them at the right time. And they're going to start clicking on emails. And the app is going to tell you who a hot prospect is. But here's the crazy part. You're going to have 200 names in the app. That's cool. 200 people that are being followed up with automatically through the system. Here's the crazier part. You guys know what 200 times 50 people on your team doing the same thing is? It's 10,000 people that are getting an email once every month or so. Well, let me tell you something. Out of those 10,000 people, there's 100 or two that the timing is getting better and better for. And they're going to start clicking on stuff. And your team is going to win. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Now, in order for all this to work, I need you to understand importing contacts and how critical doing this properly is. Don't do this nonchalant. Don't just throw them like you would a contact in your phone. And how many of you have ever looked through your phone? Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about, where you've gone through your phone and you cannot remember the person, where you met them, who they are, what happened, anything. Okay? This is going to be different because when you put a contact in the phone, right, there's a few things that need to happen. One is you need to rate the prospect. Are they a 5-star prospect? Listen, get with your team or come up with your own system. My system is pretty simple. Is the person in networking, I would say, is the person money motivated? right? Do they have a need to generate some extra income? Because for me, as a recruiter, I want to know, are you money motivated? Number two is I want to know, are you entrepreneurial, right? Are you willing to take some degree of risk to have a better life? Number three, do you have contacts and credibility, right? Now, you can succeed without being a 5-star, but do you have contacts and credibility? And then, do I want to work with you? Are you positive? Do you have a positive energy? Do you brighten a room when you walk into it? Are you the kind of person that you want to work with? Okay, so that's how you rate the 5-star prospect. And then you'll see over here, when I open up the app, right? Open up the contact card, I can put notes in here. Put detailed notes. Think about how to win friends and influence people. Not just know the person's name, but do you know how many kids they have? Do you know how old they are? Do you know what their favorite hobby is? And so when you reach back out to them 6 months after you rode that Uber with that person and they told you some details about them, and then you call them back up and they can't remember you, but you remember the name of their kid and the sport the kid was playing, when you reach back out, what they know immediately is they like you. Why? Because you took an interest in them. Put in detailed notes in the app section. Create a task. Just ask yourself, hey, when do I want to follow up with this person with these detailed notes that I have? Well, I think I'd like to follow up with this particular person, right, in 2 months. I'm going to follow up on the 26th. I'm going to set a time. I do most of my follow up in the morning. So I'm going to call them in the morning. I'm going to save this. I'm going to add some notes. Follow up with this person, whatever their name is, Bill or Sally, and ask how Johnny is and how his soccer is going and if he recovered from his injury to his ankle. Add to my calendar. Now I go down here and I add it to my calendar so that it shows up in my Google Calendar and in my iPhone calendar. And then I hit save. And that task is added to my phone, and it's going to remind me not only in Google or Apple, but the app itself is going to remind me. You guys following me? Now, activity log. There are some pro features, by the way. You guys have all the resources for free, everything. About $5,000, right, of content that is personalized to you, and it's all part of the standard free version. There are some pro features. One of them is this activity log, and I do love it. I like to be able to wake up, and I want to go to activity log under contacts here, go to activity log, and I want to chronologically see every prospect and everything that they've been viewing, because it tells me who to follow up with next, right? Now, what we've talked about so far is we've talked about notes, we've talked about task. I want to show you this search feature, and this is a really cool feature, and it's available to everybody, right? Click on search right here. There's a search and a filter. If I click on search, one of the two most important things I want to do is I want to look at everybody that I thought was a 5-star prospect. So if I got 10 minutes to kill and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay, time to get busy. Let me go to star rating. And I look up everybody in my app that I thought at the time I prospected them was 5-star. Now I might scroll through here and go, this person's a 4-star. I certainly can't make Jonathan Weber a 4-star, but Bill Reed, right? He's a 4-star. But I go to Jonathan and I go to send a resource and I go to become a coach and I go to present, and I can see in present that these buttons are here, which means if I click them, the app will literally tell me I sent this video on February 5th and I sent it via text. But you notice what else it doesn't say? It doesn't tell me how many minutes of this video that Jonathan watched. It doesn't tell me because he didn't watch any of it. As a matter of fact, Gary, please make a note. We need to add 0 on here. Yeah, 0, because I sent a 10-minute video, but it got watched 0. right? Now, we will tell you how many minutes it got watched, but I know it's 0 because nothing's there. So I can resend this same resource to Jonathan right now, right? Because I know he hasn't watched it. Isn't that cool? Being able to go in, I searched. Remember what I did? I went to my contacts. I used the filter. I looked at 5-star rating. I said, yeah, man, this guy was sharp. This Jonathan was super sharp. So I'm going to send him a resource. One of the things I'll go up here and do, I also like, is most recent. Most recent will tell me which prospects most recently have been viewing information. It'll reorganize the contact list based on most recent views. Are you kidding me? And then if I have the pro, I can click on that. I can click on activity log and I can see everything that that particular person has looked at, what they viewed. Well, these two people have no activity, right? Which is partially why their score is so low, by the way. I should have been able to see that. They have a 24. That's because I rated them a 4-star prospect, right? If I put them a 3-star, the score drops even less. But if I go down here under somebody like Patrick and I go to activity log, you can be guaranteed there's a bunch of activity because I can see his score is 99. This is what you guys got to get comfortable doing in the app, right? Building a database that you will own forever. Labels. I haven't shown you labels yet. We're wrapping it up here. Look, if I go to Jonathan, there's a label feature here. And I'm not sure he appreciates being retired. So I'm going to take him off retired. And I know that Jonathan is a friend, but I also know that he is into boot camps because maybe I'm in that world, right? Just hypothetically. And I want to be able to label Jonathan in boot camps. Why? Because from my back office, guys, I can email everybody based on labels. So let's say I have 100 people that I've met in the boot camp community, and I want to send them all an email that says, hey, guys, I got to tell you about a 21-day transformation that's coming up. And I thought about you because I know you love boot camps the way I do. So I thought you'd appreciate this video. You guys with me? Like, it feels personal. Now, I just happened to send it to 100 people, but because I mentioned boot camps and because it puts their personal name and because it's from me to them, they're all going to open that email and they're all going to click on the link that I put into the email that I wrote from the WDT Connect app. Is that ridiculous? When you send to 100, will it send each person's name? Yes, it's personalized to every single person. It feels like you literally wrote them the email. Now, an email blaster would cost you 40 or 50 bucks a month. It's already built into the free version of the WDT Connect app. Now, of course, if they're clicking links and watching videos, the activity log is the pro feature, so I'll have more data on what they're doing, but it doesn't change that you've got access to that incredibly powerful feature. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up with this and questions. I'll answer questions, but if I go to the app right now, this leaderboard is starting to change pretty rapidly, right? And I'm going to ask you guys to have a call to action tonight. And what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to come back to that leaderboard in 1 second. I'm going to ask you guys to add 5 contacts right now, not tomorrow, not in 24 hours, not in an hour. I'm going to ask you to do something. I want you to go to the app right now while it's fresh in your mind, and I want you to add 5 contacts. Go to the bottom button, the center button, and click import. Okay. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to bring the app over. Okay, you guys can see that. I want you to click the import button, and I want you to add 5 prospects by clicking the import button up here in the top right. Click import, tap into your phone's database, okay? And then import. Now, some of you will notice Octavio asked me a question tonight, right? Which was interesting. He's like, hey, when I when I add a contact to the WDT Connect app, right, I have to add them to the app. And when I'm texting them in my phone, it doesn't sync the information. That's going to change in about a month and a half. So anything if you have, you must add the contact to WDT Connect. But if you do, and you update anything in WDT, it will update it in your personal phone as well, and vice versa. So your database and your phone will link if you bring them over. You may not want to bring everybody over for obvious reasons, okay? But again, I want you guys to go to the app, click on the import button in the top right-hand corner, and I want you to add multiple contacts and prospect 5 people right now. Send them, go to the app and send them a pre-written message and invite them to look at some information. Why? So that we can get even more aggressive about this leaderboard. Dimfo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, has prospected 62 unique prospects that have all viewed information. Nizam, probably 54. These are people that have viewed information. Christina at 43. All these numbers are awesome, guys. This started on February 1st. So in the last 20 days, right, this is 3 people a day that looked at information on average. That means Dimfo is probably talking to anywhere from 4 to 7 people a day because he's got at least 3 that are clicking on information. And if he's doing a good job following up, which we're going to talk about on the next call, it is not enough to just send information to people. We've got to transition them and get them to come to a live Zoom, meet person to person, get to a challenge. Guys, this app is going to drive more activity, but you still have to do the work on the back end. Okay, I'm going to stop there, see if there's any questions, and we're going to wrap up the call this evening. All right, I will stop that share for a second. Okay, and I know you may have typed some that I may have missed. I'll just answer a few questions here. I've seen the 5 hacks for client download and I don't see it anymore. That was temporarily. It should be back. You might have to refresh your app. That's because they made the ebook better. There's so much value in that ebook that will tee your prospect up for the follow-up. It'll blow your mind, but it should be back in there. You might have to log out, log right back in. Just go to more button in the bottom right, hit log out, log right back in, and you'll see those resources, okay? Bottom right, Shauna, log out, log in. Get WDT is different than the WeDo app. I think all
Yes.
okay, yes,
Hey,
thank you.
Patrick. I'm the one that's answering the questions in the background. So one, thank you so much for jumping in here and answering all these questions immediately. 2, for the individual that is asking the question, there are 2 different applications. We have a WeDo application. In order for you to log into the WDT Connect application, this same exact email address that you use when you become a coach and sign up for our March challenge, that email address needs to be used to register into the WDT Connect app. And you're going to do that if you want to go to the Zoom and go to the Q&A and see my answered questions in there. I've typed the website out for you a couple of times, so you can just copy and paste, put that right into your browser right now. It's getwdtconnect.com. Please register with the same email address you used to become a coach. Sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
No, that's awesome. And guys, sometime in the next, it's going to take about a month to be conservative, but you won't have to do any of that. You'll be able to go directly to the App Store and you will be able to download the WDT Connect app directly from the App Store because the systems, for those that know, is single sign-on. It'll be completely seamless. In the meantime, you have to go through that process. That was Lauren, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. It sounded like you, but I didn't see you. Jonathan, how are you, my friend?
Great, great. Just first off, thank you so much, Patrick. I know there's tons of things that you'd be doing, but you take this time out to make sure that you were able to come hop on here and inform us. about all the features that some of us know, some of us don't know. You guys, like Patrick said earlier, today will be a great day if you haven't already in the last couple hours to log out of your app, right, and log back in to see all the resources populate back into your app. Like Patrick mentioned before, this team, Lauren and a lot of, and just the Wdt team has worked countless hours building out extensive ebooks to add way more value than what they previously offered. In addition to that, so much behind the scenes that's constantly being updated. So if there's ever any slowdown, just please bear with us. Our intention is to continuously make it better and better. Like Patrick said on the first call, month one will be I don't like to say
worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah, worst it's ever going to be is what he said, but it means he is going to continuously get better. But go ahead and answer some more questions, Patrick. I just wanted to make sure everybody did that so they can see everything populated.
I see, Mario, how to create an account. Hopefully you've got that, Mario. I click import multiple contacts and no contacts from the phone show. Just go to support, click on support in the app and explain to them that question. I won't get into technical, but sometimes there are things that you guys will get quick solutions to by going directly to support. And they will get a load of them, and there's only 1 or 2 people on support, so it may take a minute. Our campaign's only available for Pro. No, I believe the campaigns are available in the standard version as well. And you should be seeing those, guys, but do log out and log back in just in case. And well, I will check on that. I see that question twice, so we'll look into that. Project broadcast. Look, for those who don't know, that's an email broadcast feature. We have a feature coming and this will be a few months out, but you will be able to, via labels, you'll be able to broadcast via your phone, which to me is a way improved way to do it, and nobody has to pay for Project Broadcast. So if you're using Project Broadcast, use it separately, but there will be a way for you to broadcast. I shouldn't go any further into that. It's going to be pretty cool. Okay. Jonathan, I don't see anything crazy that's jumping out. Or, how can I import all my contacts from another account? Anne-Marie, the one thing I would tell you guys, listen, you can import like up to 1,000 people via CSV file in your back office. Here's the one thing I would tell you: as you get more familiar with the Wdt Connect app, it is really a tool to connect with people on an individual basis. There's no big broadcast feature. Like, you can't load in 1,000 names and email them. In order to email the group, you literally have to have those people opted in, and they have to have a label on their name. So importing like 1,000 names doesn't create a lot of value. I would probably just go import on my phone, go multiple contacts, click 50 people that I'm going to prospect next. It'll take you a couple minutes. Just click on 50 names and click import. And now get busy on those 50 names. What you don't want is 2,000 names in the contacts, and I've made 12 exposures. That's a bad number, as Jim Rohn would say, right? So focus on that primarily, and focus on that with your team. Okay. And yes, Andre, if you've got a bunch of prospects that you do want to get in the app, and you can pull them. If Project Broadcast will let you pull them out, you can put them in via CSV file. Yep. Can you please answer questions in the Q&A section? There are 21. Spanish one, I'm going to leave to Jonathan. Lots of Project Broadcast. Guys, I can even look into what an integration with them might look like. Not that there's no promises there, but we can take a look at something if Jonathan and the team want us to look at that. We save them from the phone, then import. If we get a brand new contact, are we having to save them? No, you do not have to save them in the phone. Any contact that you generate from a lead magnet page is an example. And guys, I wish I'd have gotten the data from those pages already, but the pages haven't been up very long. I'll tell you what, next week, we will report to you how many of those pages have been sent and how many name, phone numbers, emails have been generated from the sending of those pages. And we'll tell you that data next week. It'll be interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And anytime you generate a lead, the app automatically will notify you that you have a new push notification, a new contact in your app. And if you'll click the push notification you receive, it will take you to that contact. That contact will be labeled so that you know that lead was generated from the free secrets page that you posted. And then you can add other details when you immediately text that person and say, hey, thanks so much for completing my page on social. Let's connect. And then you're going to follow up and start the process, right? Of inviting them to a challenge or sharing the opportunity. Jonathan, back to you. I'll just look through these, see if there's anything, but I think we're pretty much done.
Gary,
you want to take 10 seconds to show them where they find that push notification? You can show that on the app for them.
Yeah, it'll just, it's not much to show. Most of you guys know, like if I go to the app, you know, and I'm right here on my home screen, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm going to get a push notification at the very top of my app that says this prospect has just clicked on this link, and it's right there. And I'm going to click on that push notification. We all get those all the time from different apps. The Wdt Connect app is going to tell you, you got a push notification, you click it, and it's going to take you to that contact so you can get busy. Yep. Okay. Are you current challengers supposed to show up on Wdt Connect app? No. Yeah, Jonathan.
So you guys, so just so you know, so the apps only speak to each other as it relates to letting the other app know that you're involved in the challenge. That's it. Anything else that you want to add into they're completely separate apps. They just communicate as it relates to verifying whether you're in the current challenge, so you have the access to the resources. When it comes to adding people, because we only got a few more minutes, right? When it comes to adding people, for me, you guys, I literally add people without an email. And what I mean by email, meaning if I'm adding their contact, let's say if I'm adding Shug or Patrick's information, I can add them without adding the email. So I don't know if that's not happening for you, what the reason that may not be happening. Someone asked about Spanish, but what they have already set up in the app does convert to different languages. But in terms of text messages, obviously, if you speak Spanish, you can convert your own text messages. You can change the text message language. In terms of video and things of that nature, I think it'd be wise for us to wait until we see how well everything converts before we go back in and shoot any other videos, right? I think it would just be a great use of time and resources if we wait. So hold off. Let's get active in this app. The more data that we can produce to see how well things convert, the faster we can optimize it so things can convert even better and more efficiently. What I mean by convert, meaning turning your prospect into a challenger or into a new coach. So the more you use it, right, the better we can see how fast we can convert and make it better and better and better. So let's get active. Back to you, Patrick.
There's a lot, Jonathan, there's several people that are saying I'm saving a contact, but it's disappearing. That's a really weird one, but there's enough of them here that it makes me wonder. It could have something to do with the API. Like I don't know, but if you would do me a favor, go to support and give us the name of the contact that you put in. Make sure you hit save, guys. There's a save button. So if I put a contact in, I have to hit save. But if you're telling me you hit save and that contact is not in the WDT app, if you could give us some detail, that would be super helpful, right? Because that should not be happening.
Can I give one other suggestion there potentially?
Yes, please, Adam.
So it's also possible if you have a bunch of contacts in there, make sure you have them sorted new to old. If you have them sorted a different way and you add a contact, it could be dropping in somewhere else because it's going to sort it however you have it sorted. So the sorting is just in the upper right-hand corner. It looks like a up and down arrow with the lines next to it. If you hit that and choose new to old, then you'll always see your newest contacts at the top, which is the default sorting. But if you ever changed that and then you start adding contacts, they could be dropping in somewhere else because that's how you change your sorting to be. And the sorting and filtering, there's lots of really cool, powerful things in there. So you can filter and sort and everything, but you do have to make sure you're looking at it how you want to be.
Which is one more reason I probably wouldn't put 2,000 people in my app, guys. I don't want to sort I want to sort a real database of real people that are looking at information. If I've got somebody, they're completely dead to me in the prospecting world, I will delete them. I can have those names in my phone. I want to do business in my app. So just one other thought on these massive imports. I want people in there on prospecting. If somebody had the pro, if they were charged, yeah, that Lydia, that's a completely separate question because our pro version is $20 anyway. So that must be on something else unrelated to this. Okay. Just so you know. And I think that'll do it, Jonathan. And, we've had people in here hopefully getting to your answers, guys. Hopefully, Adam, I don't know if you and Gary have been in the Q&A trying to type in answers there, but that's great if you could.
I'm in it. I'm halfway through.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. You're the
You're
bomb.
welcome.
Okay. All right, guys. And resources, somebody said they don't see the resources and they're in the March challenge, but not February. They should see it, right, Jonathan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I did it. It wasn't in mine until I logged out, logged back in, everything populated immediately.
Okay, awesome. And guys, there may be tiny things like those are things that we'll keep working out. We have the API, the connection, the SSO is coming. So, there may be little things here and there, but we'll keep working on those. So it's good that you're letting us know for sure. Somebody said they did it 3 times, couldn't get the contact, then logged out, logged in, everything was good. So, and there are updates that are being made this week. So, so just do that. Jonathan, it's great. And next week, we're going to talk specifically, and I'd love to get your participation in this, Jonathan. I think it would be great. We're going to talk about this concept of transitioning a prospect from viewing information to moving them into one of the activities that matter. You cannot hide behind tech, guys. The WDT app is not meant for you to push 3 buttons and people sign up. That's not how it's going to work. What it is going to do is help you and your team exponentially to prospect more people and get more people qualified for a proper conversion. What is a proper conversion? You get them to a challenge. You meet with them in person. You get them to a Zoom event. You put them on a 3-way. Like something has to happen. We're going to get you a lot more people to talk to through the WDT app. And by the end of this, I will be able to say WDT Connect app. And we're going to get you a lot more people to talk to that are more qualified, that raise their hand and say, I'm interested. But that's where you guys have to pick it up. And we'll talk more about that transition with some of the specific resources next week. Expect to see that leaderboard doubled by then, Jonathan. Exciting stuff. All good?
Thank you so much, Patrick.
All right, guys. Fantastic. Talk to everybody soon. See you next week. Get the word out. It's in the invite. You can go to calendar and invite other team members to this training each week by literally going to the app, clicking on event invite, and going to the calendar and inviting people on the team to plug into the training. We'll see you guys next week. Make it a great one.
Thank you so much.